will appear in your final list of references. They are called references. They are not working bibliography anymore. You select some of those uh, materials that you have been using or working on in order to use in your study or in your proposal. Therefore, you have to insert them in the list of your references at the end of your proposal. The more complete your bibliography, the more thorough your research would be. So, um, uh, if you are working with many books and pamphlets and papers, therefore you uh, will be able to select the most related researches and find use them in your study. Therefore, the more complete your bibliography, the more thorough your research would be. In order to prepare the working bibliography as thoroughly and systematically as possible, you need to follow two steps. For working on or preparing a working bibliography, you have to pass through these two steps. Step one, probably the immediate one, you should choose from the references of the materials at your elbow. You have to get the information from the references which are near to you or available at your hand. And step two, you need to perform a computer search on the topic through the available databases. This is also very important because nowadays we are dealing with computers, databases, sites, internet websites, journals, electronic journals, and stuff like that. So you have to you have to be able to perform a computer search on the topic you're working. There are two ways of searching databases, online and offline. It's clear that in the online form you work on the online websites, you go to the websites, journal websites and the like, but in the offline form you use some CDs, DVDs, or the files which have been collected already by the other scholars, or use the published magazines or published journals. The construction of a database is based on Boolean logic. You know, uh, it's a kind of logic which has got two sections, saying that like true or false. So the construction of a database is based on Boolean logic, like this. Three major functions of the Boolean logic are and, or, and not. And makes the things smaller or limits them. Or, on the other hand, makes the things wider and expands them. Finally, not excludes the unwanted terms. So if you use these words while searching in the databases, you will get the most related materials or the most related papers that you want. It's clear that if you add and, between your variable or your search words, it will be added to the previous one. If you use or, you mean one of them is if one of them is found is okay, and if you use not, it means that you are searching for something but you exclude something at the end. After you finish your search and get your printout, go through it and select the ones you think are the most related to your topic and put them on your working bibliography. So after finishing your searching and getting your printout, you get the prints of the papers. Go through it and select the ones you think are the most related to your topic. You know, you have to go through the titles and select the most related papers to your topic, and then put them on your working bibliography. Then those kinds of papers or books would be the ones that you're going to work on that to see whether you can make use of them in your study or not. Fortunately, the references selected by the computer on a particular topic will be supplied with an abstract, giving you a chance to check the content of the studies. So the references selected by the computer on a particular topic will be supplied with an abstract, giving you a chance to check the content of the study. Uh, while you're working with the papers, after the topic you can see the abstract, and the purpose of inserting the abstract at the beginning of a paper is for checking the content of that paper very quickly. There is no need to go through the whole paper. Instead, you can just take a look at that abstract and see whether the information included in that abstract would be suitable to you or not. And working on the topic and research problem, again, task 2, reading and summarizing the related literature. After finding the most related articles and papers, objectives, you should summarize the most related ones, the most related papers to your topic. The objectives in reading materials are this. While you read the papers, the purposes, the objectives of these. 1. Gaining information and conceptualizing the issue. 2. Becoming familiar with the methodological aspects. And 3. Summarizing and making notes for literature review. So, while you're reading, the materials you have selected, at the first step, you read them in order to gain information and conceptualize the issue. Understand how this study can be related to you and how you can make some, issues out of that paper for your benefit. So the first and foremost objective in reading published research reports and other materials should be to learn as much as possible about the topic under study. This is the first objective. The second objective in reading the papers is that becoming familiar with the methodological aspects, with the method of that study, whether the method which has been used in that study is the one which is going to be used in your study, or that can be related to your study, or no, it's completely different. Since you will be doing more or less the same study, you should know how to operationalize the research problem, what instruments to use, how to collect and analyze data, and so on and so forth. The best sources you can find out about these issues are the previous studies. So while you're using the paper, the methodologies or the methods of those, or the method designs of those papers would help you to use them for your own purpose or for your own research as well. So they will give you some hints how to collect data, how to design your study, how to deal with the instruments and stuff like that. In part 3, this is also another objective in reading material: summarize and make notes for literature review. You read the literature in order to summarize them and make notes for literature review. This is an essential aim in reviewing others' writings, both in your research proposal, though not as thoroughly as in the actual thesis, and in your chapter of literature review in your final thesis. You need to review other studies done in the same field and around the same topic. So as you see, it's very important uh, to read the previous studies relating to your field in order to summarize and make notes of the most important one and the most related one, right? And yes, finally, the last objectives of reading literature is that identifying important findings to be used in the discussion section. Because in the discussion section, you have to interpret and talk about the results of your study. At the same time, you should cite some sources which are related to your study, whether negatively or positively. So, um, in the discussion section of your paper or your thesis, you may use some kinds of references related to your study, saying that although I've taken these kind of results, but the other scholar has found, completely different results like this. Or no, he has, in the same vein, he has found the same results which are in line with mine. So, identify the major findings of each study to draw upon them later on, and especially in the discussion section of your thesis. Therefore, it's very important to read those uh, literature review and work on that in order to identify the major findings of each study to draw up upon them later, and especially in the discussion section. As I told you, you can use the other scholars, researchers, and their findings and say that they are in line with yours or no different. Reviewing previously published material is a multifold process. It has got different, factors. If you're aware of these different folds, you can take care of it easily and sequence as you read through material. Keep a record of the source, who has written that and when he has written it. Attend to the methodological aspects of the study and summarize its major findings. These are the jobs that you have to do while reading some related papers in the literature review. Okay? So as you read through material, keep a record of the source, who has said, when that paper has been written, and where it has been published. Attend to the methodological aspects of the study, the methods. Pay attention to that to see what kind of method design, the researcher has used, and summarize the major findings. That person who has worked on this area has found these, these findings or these results. Uh, then you can discuss them in your discussion section. This will help you to benefit from previous studies in their totality. So it's very important, as I already said several times, it's very important how to use the previous studies done in the field, because you're going to benefit from those studies, whether you may say that the results of the same studies done by this guy in this year are in line with mine, or no, they're different, or no, there are some similarities and differences like this one. Therefore, it's very important how to read the material, the previously done researches, and how to use them in our own research. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.